Coming up next, how do other countries view the United States' growing political divide? We get the view from Europe.
Personality politics is no longer trivial. The personality has become the political message.
Plus, why parents are frustrated by the uncertainty of remote learning.
And how downtown State College farmers market vendors are adjusting to changes due to COVID concerns. The Centre County Report starts now. Good afternoon. I'm Grace Bradley. Thanks for joining us for the Centre County Report.
And I'm Chanel Porter. President Donald Trump and challenger Joe Biden will have their first debate tonight, with the election just 5 weeks away. The debate starts at 9 p.m. with Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace moderating the event in Cleveland, Ohio. It'll be broken into 6 separate topics, including Trump and Biden records, the Supreme Court, COVID-19, the economy, race and violence in cities, and the integrity of the election.
With the election just weeks away, it seems like everyone across the country has a strong opinion on President Trump and Joe Biden. But what do those in other countries think of the bitter U.S. election? We talked with a university professor in Scotland to get his view from across the Atlantic. This year has exposed America's bitter political divide as we get closer to the presidential election. The fight between an outspoken president and a challenger who spent decades in Washington's political establishment has many Americans fired up for Election Day. Michael Higgins is a professor at the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow, Scotland. I talked with him about how people in Scotland see the U.S. election.
It's an election in which the style of Joe Biden is up against the style of Donald Trump. And there seems to be comparatively little discussion when we compare it with recent elections, with the policies and with the sorts of America that would emerge, after.
Higgins says the Scottish media has portrayed the election as very unconventional and driven more by the personalities of the candidates.
Personality politics is no longer trivial. The personality has become the political message that, the personality of Donald Trump will dominate America over the next 4 years, or the personality of Joe Biden will dominate America over the next 4 years.
Higgins suggested something very foreign to America's political races. Get rid of political ads. He says those ads stoke fear into voters.
The tone of political adverts is overwhelmingly destructive. They are not to inspire you to vote for one candidate, but to terrify you at the prospect of another.
Many in Scotland see how this election is tearing apart the U.S., and Higgins says it's disappointing because many Scots view themselves as friends of America.
We look on this election really as a turning point in the history of the United States. And Scotland is looking at the United States and is deeply worried. And that whatever comes out of this election, it's very important that the country is not divided.
Higgins in Scotland will be watching closely as America makes its election choice. Higgins does believe the U.S. needs to unify around whoever wins the election.
We have some breaking news right now. The new COVID numbers have just been released for Centre County. They show an increase of 116 cases since yesterday in Centre County. The total case number since March now stands at 2,667, and the number of deaths remain at 11. And the coronavirus threat is affecting local bus service in Centre County. CATA will discontinue service for 8 of its commuter bus routes. Beginning October 5th, the Park Forest, Boalsburg, Hauserville, Pine Grove, Grayswood, Science Park, Bellefonte, and Pleasant Gap routes will temporarily shut down due to a big drop in the number of riders this year.
A new medical facility is set to break ground in College Township soon. Geisinger Health System wants to build a primary care clinic at Scenery Drive and South Atherton Street. In addition to primary care and general internal medicine, the new expansion would have the ability to do x-rays and blood draws in that same building. Geisinger now has to submit a formal land development plan to approval.
As the coronavirus pandemic continues, so does education. Many schools across the state have moved between remote, hybrid, and in-person classes. Reporter Layla Mitchell spoke with local teachers about their experience teaching through a pandemic.
It's been a crazy year for students and teachers as schools try to keep the focus on learning. New COVID risk, rules, and guidelines make it a challenge for people like preschool teacher Kelly Lipback.
We socially distance our classroom. My classroom is taped off in squares, so each student is separated and confined to their own square throughout the day.
The way children interact has dramatically changed too.
They're not allowed to share toys, pencils, or anything that you touch. My biggest challenge is teaching them how to share while also telling them that they're not allowed to share, and helping them understand that by keeping their stuff separate is keeping themselves and everybody else safe.
From preschool to graduate school, educational institutions are changing their regular routine. For those not in person, they are attending what many jokingly call Zoom University. Professors at Penn State had the choice to teach in person or through a hybrid or remote model. President Barron said he wanted to bring students and faculty back to campus in a safe way. More than half of Penn State's classes are online, while about 20% of classes are hybrid or in person. One professor who chose to teach her class in person found a safer alternative to a confined classroom.
We meet at the picnic pavilions for 3 hours. The blue band starts playing at some point. But I think it's actually been a really lovely space for us to work. But I also kind of love that the Wi-Fi doesn't really reach there. And so my students aren't using their laptops. And we're having conversations.
And while some students struggle with the pandemic and its effects, Mitra says it also makes her job more fulfilling.
I think that there is a gift of a level of vulnerability right now of just wanting to connect and engage, of appreciating the conversations as opposed to wishing they were down at Cafe 210 or something.
In State College, I'm Leila Mitchell for the Center County Report.
And things continue changing. State College School District is now back to in-person learning for the first time this week.
The need for many community services has increased during the pandemic. One local place that offers help is the food pantry at Penn State. Reporter Jason Schulman takes a closer look at how it's operating this year.
The need for Penn State's food pantry may be greater than ever right now, as a bad economy and global health threat drag on. The pandemic has impacted donations.
One of the biggest things has just been the slowdown of donations and deliveries to us. So in the past, we've had a surplus of deliveries.
Spencer Wallace is president of the student-run Lions Pantry. He's volunteered there since his freshman year. He says this year brings a new challenge.
We've also had problems with just students being comfortable with coming to the pantry and comfortable getting our resources, which is why we've been coming up with new delivery methods.
The pantry, located on the University Park campus, collects donations from toiletries to vegetables and canned goods and gives them to students struggling to afford food. Students can either pick up their items at the Lions Pantry building, or they can have them delivered. And with a spike in COVID cases, it seems the major increase in deliveries is inevitable. Robin Parks, the parent of a Penn State alum, is helping tackle the issue.
Sometimes you have to educate parents. They think like, well, they go to Penn State, they pay $30,000-$40,000. Why are they hungry? Why don't they have money for food?
She's found a creative way to bring in donations through an Amazon feature called Baby Registry. It allows parents worldwide to select items to donate to the pantry.
Just because the tuition's that high doesn't mean every family can provide 3 meals a day, a snack, and some students have to take out all loans.
Parks has almost reached her goal of 409 items.
I think we all know that people need help, but I think we forget. You have kids that need to eat. If you don't eat well, your academics are going to suffer.
She hopes others will join her effort to help those who need it. In University Park, I'm Jason Schulman for the Center County Report.
If you want to help students struggling with food insecurity, you can donate directly through Lion Pantry's website at lionpantry.psu.edu and by clicking Ways to Donate on the drop-down menu.
Is our summer weather finally gone for good? Nick is here with the 7-day forecast and some big changes, plus how a local farmers market has changed in the COVID era. Also coming up, how local families are dealing with the challenges of their kids' classes this fall. From in-person to hybrid to fully remote. That's after the break.
Here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Remote learning has been a challenge, not just for students, but also for parents this year. Reporter Leanne Stapleton takes a look at how families are handling switching back and forth between in-person and online classes.
Most parents hoped their kids would have been able to return to in-person classes this fall. But with COVID-19 sticking around, many schools have made the choice to go remote. State College School District just returned to in-person learning after weeks of remote classes. Some parents have had to step up into a role many never thought they would have to do.
Neither of us went into education. We're not meant to be teachers. I think our teachers are being put in a really tough position because they weren't taught to teach this way either.
It's been especially hard for many younger students who are expected to do virtual work along with video chat classes and discussions that some parents feel they aren't ready for.
Is it being expected to really work like an adult with learning skills and organizational skills that just aren't developed yet?
Parents have had to adjust to helping their kids create a school environment at home without adding more stress. State College School District is back with in-person classes, but parents and students are prepared to go back to remote learning at any time, whether or not teachers have a plan. It's led to many families to adopt a go-with-the-flow attitude.
So I think we've all gotten somewhat used to the crazy uncertainty, and now we just plan literally one day at a time.
In State College, I'm Leanne Stapleton for the Center County Report.
Parents and students are hopeful that this time around, in-person classes can continue.
The popular farmers market in downtown State College began in the summer of 1976, and it's been going strong ever since. But this year, it's a little different. We went downtown to see what's changed. The downtown State College Farmers Market has been on Locust Lane for more than 40 years. Vendors typically line the streets selling their produce, baked goods, plants, and more. But this year, the coronavirus threat left many uncertain if the market would be coming back.
We couldn't actually have the market in May. We didn't start till first week of June this year. And we had very few vendors. We had like 3 or 4 vendors because there was concern.
The market looks different this year with only 10 vendors, mask requirements, and social distancing. Vendors have taken away samples and have new rules for customers.
We're the only people that touch our produce until we give it to the customer. And there's lots of hand sanitizing and wiping down of all the surfaces. So it's been a little bit of a change with that.
Some vendors say despite the changes and COVID concern, business is still moving along.
But there's still, plenty of activity going on and people coming back and forth. And since the students came back, there's always more activity once the students come back. and they've been good customers.
It's a lot slower than it used to be, but since the students have come back, it's picked up quite a lot.
With Penn State students being back and fear of COVID exposure, the downtown farmers market has seen a decrease in community members. They say their customers are about 90% students and only 10% community members. Some vendors like Patrick Farm and Greenhouse decide to sell products online for those who don't feel comfortable going in person.
And so people can order online, say, I want 3 bags of lettuce. We will have the 3 bags of lettuce in a little baggie. They can call us when they're here and open up their trunk, and then we'll just go place it in there. And then everything's all set for everyone.
More vendors may be moving to an online market soon to service customers who don't feel comfortable going to the outside market.
With the weather so unusually dry for the past few months, officials are asking residents to reduce water use as they list Center County in a drought watch. The State Department of Environmental Protection is watching drought conditions in Center County and 18 other counties across western and central PA. Residents are asked to cut their water use by 5%. Things like taking shorter showers and turning off the water while brushing your teeth are easy ways to cut water use.
Well, everyone, we are finally seeing some much needed rainfall here in State College. Looking at these dreary conditions at Beaver Stadium right now, where temperatures are sitting into the upper 50s. These showers will continue as we head into the later part of the day. And this rain is much needed because look at this. It's been so dry. Portions of central Pennsylvania are in drought, moderate to severe drought. These showers that we're seeing today are associated with a cold front and will hopefully relieve some of the drought we have been seeing. These showers will continue to move eastward as we head throughout the rest of the day. And look how expansive this cold front is. These showers will continue as we head into the afternoon, and hopefully we'll see some relief in that drought monitor. You can also see this cold front on the temperature map, seeing places to the west where the front has already passed, sitting into the 50s, while places to the east where the front has yet to come to are sitting into the 70s. Temperatures will continue to drop as we head into the afternoon, and the showers will continue as we head into this evening as the cold front continues to work its way eastward and eventually off the coast this evening. As we start heading into the morning hours of Wednesday, the cloud cover starts to break up and become more scattered in nature. As we start heading into the afternoon, dinner time for Wednesday, most of us will remain clear, but as we head into the overnight of Wednesday, we see this area of shortwave energy moving in from the northwest, bringing that chance for scattered showers and clouds with it. Thursday, things become more broken up. Can see some clouds moving in from the northwest once again. But today, temperatures staying into the low 60s. The high was actually after midnight, and the continue to drop due to the cold front passing and the cold air mass moving in behind it. But we will see those showers continue as we head even into this evening, where temperatures will drop all the way into the low 50s. Tomorrow, temperatures rise back up into the 60s, and it will be windy, gusts possibly getting into the 20s. Now for the 7-day, we're seeing this wet patch right now, but as we start looking ahead into the weekend, the sun comes back, things start to dry out, temperatures on the decline into Saturday, all the way into the low to mid 50s. Things start to cloud up as we head into the beginning of next week. So grab that umbrella for today, but as we start heading into the weekend, you can toss it aside. I'm now going to send it over to Sarah with sports.
Thanks, Nick. The NFL regular season just started, and we've already seen a huge number of serious injuries. More on that after the break in sports. Also coming up, local high school football. The Phillipsburg Osceola Mountaineers took on Central on senior night. We have highlights next.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Hi, I'm Peter. There's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in! Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
So I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first, don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
Don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
I'm Sarah Sutnick with sports. We start with high school football. Phillipsburg Osceola heads to Clearfield this week with a 1-1 record. The Mountaineers held their senior night on Friday against a tough Central team. Senior night, but the Mountaineers were not able to keep pace with Central's offense and lost 40-14. After taking a weekend off from playing, Phillipsburg Osceola pushed up its senior night, giving the school a chance to honor the seniors. Senior night came a little early here in Phillipsburg Osceola for the Mountaineers. As you can see, we celebrated the football players, we celebrated the cheerleaders, and we celebrated all band members.
Has been with this same group of seniors. There's only one addition to the team this year, but the rest of these kids have all played since they were in 7th grade. And it's they're really a good group of kids. They like each other, they have fun together, and we're hoping they have a little success this year to finish out their high school careers.
Not being able to leave with a win was a disappointment for this team, but senior Hunter Wietosh was happy with his personal performance. He's sad that he'll soon say goodbye to his football career.
I'm sad that it's going to be my last year. I just hope that they keep playing and finish out like whatever we left.
There's still plenty of football left for these seniors, so they're keeping their heads high after a tough loss.
He loves his friends. He likes being out here. He likes the competition. It's a lot of fun.
Phillipsburg Osceola is 1-1 heading into their next game on Friday at Clearfield. We're only 3 weeks into the NFL regular season, but there's already been a rash of injuries plaguing teams and their playoff hopes. Players including Von Miller, Saquon Barkley, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, Tariq Cohen, and Courtland Sutton are all done for the season, while big franchise names such as Christian McCaffrey, Drew Lock, Jimmy Garoppolo, Raheem Mostert, George Kittle, and Chase Young have all been forced to miss time. Teams like the Denver Broncos and San Francisco 49ers have hit the hardest, but teams including the Philadelphia Eagles are also dealing with the loss of starters. Speaking of the Eagles, tight end Dallas Goedert, wide receiver Deshaun Jackson, and cornerback Avonte Maddox left Sunday's game with injuries. Philadelphia tied the Cincinnati Bengals 23-23 as neither team scored in overtime. The Eagles are now 0-2-1 and will play the San Francisco 49ers this weekend on Sunday Night Football. Improving to 3-0 for the first time in a decade, the Pittsburgh Steelers battled the Houston Texans on Sunday with a win of 28-21. The Steelers will travel to Tennessee this upcoming Sunday in a battle of undefeated teams. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. In baseball news, the Philadelphia Phillies' once promising season is over, as they've been eliminated from a playoff contention. The Phillies lost Sunday's game 5-0 to the Rays in Tampa. Philly needed at least one win from this weekend's 3-game series to make the postseason. They finished their 60-game season 4 games below 500 and lost 7 out of the 8 final games. They missed the postseason by 1 game. This is the 9th straight season without a spot in the playoffs. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Sarah. Coming up next, with more chain stores opening in State College, there are less mom and pop shops in the area, which has some business owners coming up with the innovative ideas. We'll have more after the break.
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Even before the pandemic, the downtown State College area was seeing less mom and pop type shops and more chains like Target taking over. But some familiar brick and mortar shops are trying to make a comeback with a slightly different approach.
Kathy Horner opened Tadpole Crossing 30 years ago, selling animal and nature-themed items for kids and adults. But after 15 years, she sold the business as downtown State College began to change.
When I sold the store 15 years ago, is really when we were seeing the effect of the Walmarts and the Targets.
More chain stores, less mom and pop shops. Now, years later, Horner and Tadpole Crossing are back. But this time, the shop is online, selling products and helping others during a tough time.
Trying to help other women that are struggling because of the pandemic, and I can help them by buying their products, and I can help people here by having some different little things to buy and give as gifts.
Searching for special items and reselling them to make other people happy is rewarding for Horner. Horner did not want her customers to miss out on the opportunity of seeing her items in person like they did at her downtown location. That's why she recently joined with newly opened Bellefonte brick and mortar store, Bell Mercantile. It opened this month, renting small spaces to local businesses that still want a brick and mortar presence. Tadpole Crossing has 3 shelving units in the collective marketplace.
We really wanted to have a brick and mortar for people that are selling online. So Kathy fits into this scheme perfectly.
Skirpin's new business is a way for online sellers to rent space and give their customers an in-person shopping experience.
These small businesses pride themselves on making sure their unique and handcrafted products set them apart from large chain stores.
That's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com. Our next newscast is on Friday, but you can follow us anytime for breaking news on Twitter. That's at Center County REP or on our Facebook page. We also have a Center County Report Instagram. Have a good day.
Thank you.